Part 3. 7 Steps to Taking Off Your Pants. A man can't pull out your chair if you've already pushed his in. Number 1. Stop paying. Dutch? No, thank you very much. There is absolutely no reason why you should pay to let some guy spend time basking in your company. To that I say the 5 following words. Put your bleeping purse down. If he's strapped for cash, do free stuff. Go to the park, the beach, grab your water bottles and go for a hike. Go to the museum on a day when there's no admission cost. The library, bird watching for a little dating inspiration. Anything except footing the bill for both of you, or even just for yourself. A man wouldn't expect his own mother or sisters or future daughters, for that matter, to assume the role of Daddy Warbucks and bankroll brunch for 2. You don't even have to explain this one in order for him to understand when it comes to the women in his life that he loves. So don't let him get all liberal with you while being conservative with his cash. Only a selfish, disrespectful cheapskate would allow a woman to pay for their first days or nights out together. He'd have to be a bona fide bozo to expect such a thing, clueless or classless, neither of which make for a suitable partner. You don't need a guy like this one finding his way into the precious pages of your date book. I recognize that for some women this may be a hard sell, and to those women I ask the following. What is so sexy about a stingy man? Seriously, what is attractive about a guy who is not willing to chase you with whatever he has? What is so irresistible about a member of the male gender who is perfectly willing, content even, to sit back and let a woman foot the bills? Where's the turn on in that scenario? The only turn on there for me is turning my heels to head in the opposite direction of that man. Now you may say you don't need his money. You may argue that you make all the money you need and that you don't want to muddy the waters with this man by making an issue of money. You figure you make enough to treat the 2 of you because it's not all about the money. After all, it's about the love. The money ain't a thing so long as I have my job kind of love. My response? Don't make an issue of it. By all means, make your money. Make your money, honey. But just because you have a surplus of cash doesn't mean that you should start paying for attention. Yeah, attention. That's the word I was looking for. Attention, flashy, cashy girls, get a grip. Put your wallet up, woman. Don't get suckered into adopting the lame philosophy of, I make my own money, so I really don't need a man to pick up the check on a date. No, I say let him pick it up anyway. Let a man prove to you his level of interest in all the ways that men have proven their levels of interest to wonderful women before us. You deserve it. Well, can I at least splurge on him, buy him clothes, shoes, and tech gadgets? Let me say it in Spanish this time. No. A man should still work for your attention and affection. We shouldn't lose that ritual. We shouldn't change the rules of the game just because we have a little more money in our checking accounts. A man still needs to be a man, and a woman still needs to let him. A man still needs to want you more than you want him in the beginning, and he should still demonstrate this through his actions, one of which being picking up the tab, the total tab. Trying to split things down the middle during the honeymoon stages of courtship just sucks out all the fun of being courted in the first place. Courted. He should be courting you. Courting. Let's define that word, shall we? Courting. It's a verb. To try to gain, to act so as to invite or provoke, to seek the affections or favor of the candidate courted the voters, for example, to engage in a social relationship, usually leading to marriage, to engage in activity leading to mating. The first thing to point out is that courting is a verb. This means there is and must always be actions involved. Actions, as we all know, speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. Actually, talk is free, and anybody can do that. Whisper those sweet nothings all you want, but it's put up or shut up at the end of the day. Money, as we all well know, is a very important resource, and the act of a man spending his own on you is a wonderful verb if I ever knew one. Spending is a verb, too. Knowing how important money is in this world to every individual, it goes without saying that a man willing to spend his hard-earned income on you can be a pretty decent indicator of just how far he's willing to go to get to know you, how badly he wants to spend time with you, how much he wants to please you. It's certainly not the be-all, end-all, but it's definitely a great start. A lovely little litmus test, if you will, of his potential love, or heads up, lust, for you. Guilt-free standards. Don't let recording artists contend with your womanly intuition. Resist the urge to allow catchy lyrics to serenade you into stupidity. Hold your standards high, with confidence in the belief that if a man asks you out, it's perfectly normal for you to expect to be treated to a meal, movie, or other date-appropriate adventure. And don't let some penny-pinching punk make you feel guilty for it. But doesn't that make me a gold digger? Hush your face. No. That's not an ordinary no, but a don't be ridiculous, slap yourself for even thinking so, no. A person is dubbed a gold digger for their sole romantic interest in money, jewels, etc. What's more, the term gold digger is also, number one, most likely male-invented, and number two, often misused. In spite of the above, let's just spend a moment on this particular kind of person. Gold diggers are those individuals who, instead of love, are in pursuit of profit. Rather than romance, their radars are set to scope out situations and relationships that can provide for them monetary and material gain. They have an isolated interest in what financial resources another person can bestow upon them in exchange for their attention and/or affection. This is typically someone who couldn't care less about the rest of the individual she is allowing to pursue and entertain her, one who would probably settle for less when it comes to more important qualities and personality traits, so long as the man has money that he's willing to spend on her. He doesn't necessarily have to have a lot of it in every case. He just has to be willing to spend whatever he does have on her. There is nothing wrong with a woman who appreciates a man spending money on her, just as there's nothing wrong with a man appreciating the company of a beautiful woman, as opposed to one he isn't physically attracted to. People have their personal preferences. In the case of a so-called gold digger, however, usually there's some form of callousness or deception that accompanies one's desire for their courtier's cash. For example, a woman telling a man she loves him when in fact she doesn't. Something like this would of course be frowned upon by those of us who find this not only deceptive, but unethical in every sense. On the other hand, some gold diggers may be very transparent and upfront about their interest being target-locked on a man's pockets, and just as plain, the man may be perfectly fine with this for his own personal reasons and pursuits. Different things float different people's boats. Note: men can be gold diggers as well, but this book is written for women. Now, as we were. In either case, when we talk about a gold digger, we're talking about someone who usually doesn't care a smidgen about the man she's with. She's only with the man for his money. Nothing more. End of story. What I'm writing about in this section is entirely different, and it's certainly not a new concept. A man should still be expected to pick up the tab on dates when courting a woman, and a woman should not feel as though she is behaving like a gold digger or anything else derogatory by having this exception. Besides, I've never heard of anyone calling a man a beauty digger or a sex digger. For the record, let me say that I'm not advocating for the exploitation of any man or any human being for that matter. I'm not telling you to go out and use a man until he's all used up. I'm telling you to know your worth and to let a man know through your actions or inaction. Let him know that you have a certain standard set for yourself as it applies to any man interested in getting close to you. This is your right. He has rights too, by the way. He has the right to leave you alone. He has the right not to ask you out on a date. He has the right to look elsewhere for his romantic needs and curiosities, and to stay the heck out of your lovely face. God bless America. A man who doesn't want to woo you, but only wants to screw you, doesn't see any real value in you. Therefore, you shouldn't be seeing him at all. Now, I would agree that there is a delicate balance to be considered when it comes to long-term love. Yes, once two people are committed to a life together, sure, bring on the 50-50, or whatever works best for you, your man, and your household. But if it's not worth it to the man to carry the extra load in the beginning of a potential relationship when he's trying to win you over, if he's uninspired to go the extra mile in order to impress you, then forget it. Why bother with him? It's very rare that a man ends up treating a woman better later down the road than he did when she was still just a fantasy to him. If he's playing stingy with you now, he'll play lowlife with you later. So don't play with him at all. You don't need that particular man that bad. I don't know about you, but the quickest way to turn me off is to make me reach for my MasterCard after dinner. Oh, and also, for the record, I'd rather be called a gold digger than a damn fool. Speaking of which, independent versus damn fool. Are you picking up tabs and hailing cabs, changing oil, washing cars, pumping gas, pushing your stalled car uphill? Dang, girl, chill. When a woman is with a man, there are just certain things she shouldn't have to do when he's around. The above are a few easy examples of such things. Again, I'm not saying you should use a man or try to make him carry a heavier load just because. I'm saying that there is an actual because, a real specific because. Do it because it says to a man and to yourself that you're aware of your value and that you want and value a man who demonstrates that he already sees some of your value and is therefore interested in discovering more about just how truly valuable you are. A man treating you like a lady, taking you out to dinner, buying you flowers, and covering the cost of a night out with you, says to you, I'm interested in getting to know you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight, and I hope that you allow me to take you out again in the immediate future. Now, isn't that a beautiful thing? You deserve to experience that kind of chivalry in your life, especially while you're young and single. You're going to be an old woman one day, and perhaps all the bells and whistles won't matter much to you. For now, though, live it up, soak it up, savor your youth, your beauty, your single years. Make some memories. Some of those memories should be of you being treated like a princess or queen at some point in your life. Again, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it if you're tall. You deserve it if you're short. You deserve it if you're a size 6. You deserve it if you're a size 26. You deserve it if you own your own home. You deserve it if you have 2 roommates in a 3-bedroom flat. You deserve it because you're a wonderful woman who has much to share with a man who values you. So do it because it says to a man, you know how you deserve to be treated, that you know who you are. You are a woman. We are women. And I'm pretty sure men still love that about us. Sink into your womanhood, your lovely lunar essence. If a man wants to go dollar for dollar with you on everything, then maybe he should be out on a date with his buddy, Bill, or his best friend, Frank, instead of you. Because if he can't get the bill, then quite frankly, you don't need to be out with him. You're not his buddy. You're someone in which he expressed some level of romantic and sexual interest. Act accordingly. Put your purse up, girl. Picture this. A man and a woman are out on a dinner date. The scampi was fantastic, and the wine so smooth. The check comes. The man does the digging in his back pocket for his wallet forward lean, but the woman, quicker than a cowboy in an old western flick, snatches up her big dollar bag and whips out her American Express at pretty close to the speed of light. The guy's thinking he must have dropped his credit card on the floor, and he's readying his mouth to thank her for picking it up for him when suddenly she says, I'll get this, and proudly places her gold card inside of the black vinyl guest check presenter without even bothering to review the charges, lest she risk looking like she can't afford it. Oh my, how impressive am I, she thinks to herself, reading on his face what she believes to be an expression of sincere gratitude and thoughts of just how quickly he can get her to the altar. In his mind, however, he's thinking, whoa, this chick is mega macho and way too desperate for me. He's wondering if she has plans to bend him over the couch later and whether he'll have any say in the matter. He leans back in his chair and thinks about how long it will take her to finally get the hint and stop calling him after he's been awfully busy, I'm afraid, for the remainder of his life. But I can afford to pay. Why shouldn't I show him I can pull my weight? Okay, why don't you go ahead and sprinkle a little hair on your chest while you're at it? Or better yet, challenge him to a quick arm wrestling match and win, because it will have a similar effect on the man who was set to impress you for the night. One who is all pumped up, confidently armed, and ready to demonstrate for you some of his value. You just cut off his ding-a-ling. But what if you're wrong? What if that makes him desire me even more? Well then, perhaps there's no ding-a-ling for which to be concerned, at least not one of respectable size. Again, metaphorically speaking, of course. Moot point. No harm, no foul. Now, as it applies to the rest of the male population, i.e. those who have a little something in their boxers worth bragging about, here's something to consider. Your new beau might be a gigolo. Only a purse predator would get all tingly inside over you picking up the check. A normal man won't like you more because you let him off the hook for dinner. He'd sooner be disappointed that you did, because now he has to figure out what his next move can be since you stole his small thunder. He's right where he started credit-wise with you. That's not fair. Let the poor guy treat you. Makes him feel just as good to give as it should make you to feel to receive. So you don't just do it for you. You do it for both of you. Sing between the lines. When Beyoncé said, "The shoes on my feet, I bought 'em. The house I live in, I bought it. The rock I'm rocking, I bought it. 'Cause I depend on me if I want it." That's some great stuff. Go, Miss Multimillionaire. Always one to promote girl power. She was schooling us on the self-fulfillment and the psychological rewards associated with being able to rely on oneself for the guilty comforts and pleasures of life we so desire. That's some sage advice if I've ever heard some. However, I'm pretty sure the now Mrs. Carter did not mean for you to interpret this as go buy all your stuff yourself and then go hop in bed and give away your ultimate girly goodies to some guy who's praying you won't ask him for Uber fare back home. And, as filthy rich as Beyoncé is, I'm twice as sure that Jay-Z picked up the dinner tabs when he was wooing her into marriage and motherhood. Don't be so rich in the pockets that you're dead in the head. Exercise good judgment at any tax bracket. Don't forget that you're looking for a quality man, not just any old human with a Y chromosome. Any woman can always at any time get a man. That's occurring every second of the day. You are looking for a man with high quality, who demonstrates that he sees the value in you, or at least is optimistic about your potential value, so much as to willingly invest in pursuing you. An easy way to demonstrate this is through treating you to a good time when in your company. A lesser man would just love us women to foot our own night out with him bills and then come over to his place to wrap those bill-footing feet right around his no-effort-making neck. Not that there should be a mobile payment device near your nether regions. I certainly don't intend to suggest you should prostitute yourself or demand that a man pay for sex. What I am saying, though, is that everybody with half a brain, and who is willing to use that half a brain, knows that it's not a good look for a woman to let a man get to the ultimate level of where he's bouncing around inside of her, kissing all on her and rubbing all over her, when he's not even the slightest bit interested in providing for her in any meaningful way, on even the smallest level. Besides, generosity is an aphrodisiac. More on that later. Still not convinced? Okay, fast forward 30 years into the future. Your date, the man sitting across from you last night, or cringe, in bed with you this morning, is now married, not to you, with 2 children. One of these children is an adorable girl who has him wrapped around her finger. She's all grown up now, but Daddy will always see her as his little princess. Let's think about what kind of dating advice Father Dear would give to his little tiara wearer. What nuggets of wisdom would he share about dating expectations? Got it? You thought about it? Okay, now think back to all of the things that he may argue against or complain about now with you. For example, having to pick up the dating tabs, sending flowers, putting in the effort of courting, helping out, proving himself worthy, etc. Would the two expressed dating beliefs match? Probably not. So it's important for you to understand that T-minus 30 years, you are the tiara wearer. Don't let him play dumb with you. Keep your standards at a respectable height. If you're not worth the effort to him, then he's not worthy of you. In case you missed it, I can't stress enough that I believe that once two people decide to do life together, to marry and to commit to a solid lifelong partnership, then of course it should become just that, a partnership. I have no qualms with who makes more money or how household chores are divvied up between a man and a woman. What I'm talking about in this book is the courting stages, the part where the man is trying to cast himself in the best light possible in order to get the woman that he desires, the part where he's trying to gain access to her wonderful, womanly world. Not the kind of sugar Adam Levine was singing about. If you're looking for any old man to wander through life with, then go for it. Buy his time and attention. Spend away, Miss Moneybags. He'll be all yours, at least until a richer sugar mama comes along. Dating tips. Know where to go. If you're going to be in the dating world, it's important that you know what you like or would like to do. Don't be the blind leading the blind. If he has suggestions, great. If he leaves it up to you, have some ideas of your own. Not sure? Check out the entertainment section of your local newspaper or pull up the Groupon app. Browse the online menus of the nicest restaurants in your area or scroll through the local food and entertainment bloggers page. Conduct 10 minutes of research to find out where the fun is. Do whatever you need to do, but never shrug and say, "Oh, I don't know, whatever's fine." No, have some thoughts and share them. Dates are where you go out and play. Have some playgrounds in mind. Besides, it's his treat, remember? Never be in care of. I'm not encouraging you to sit back and let a man pay all of your real-life bills, to be your sole source of livelihood. If you're dating someone and decide to move in with him and you don't have gainful employment, just know that you are at risk of eventually being treated like shit. We may all get too comfy in a man's mansion or one-bedroom apartment and settle into life of seeing him off to work while we hit the gym to keep our figures tight and then the mall to purchase things to show it off and then greeting him home hours later with a "Welcome home, honey, don't I look fabulous?" kiss. But beware. It doesn't take a psychic to predict that he'll eventually assume implied ownership of you and thus have less respect for you. The man taking care of you will have less confidence in your ability to take care of yourself as a human being on planet Earth and, therefore, begin to demonstrate a decreased level of respect for you. When supporting you financially 100%, your man will come to feel that he doesn't owe you explanations or need to consult with you on certain matters or even consider you at all when making the smallest or biggest of plans. In addition, he'll become more likely to try you. Example, take the bold chance of disrespecting you in some unusual way when he knows he pays the cost to be the boss, versus if you were holding your own money-wise. Never have this stamped on your forehead, paid in full. For example, conversations may go like this. "Yeah, so you found another woman's number in my phone? So what? I pay the bills around here. So my dear dependent, you can just shut up and stay out of my business and keep getting taken care of." This is what he'll eventually say in some way, either through his actions or in plain English. And it would be pretty pathetic, cry out loud sad, if you had to do just that, shut up and take it, in order to continue getting taken care of. Always have your own cab fare, so to speak. Always have the ability to pack up and hightail it up out of there should a man feel he has purchased the right to mistreat you. Always retain your ability to do for yourself should the man in your life decide to pull a fast one and show you his rump in some unsightly way. Never become too dependent on a man. Never really need him. Keep your resume fresh, your bank account stacked, your beauty intact, and therefore your options open. Your dignity and self-respect look way better on you than any designer dress or shoes his money can buy. Never tolerate any type of disrespect or demeaning treatment, regardless of who's paying the mortgage. I don't care if he has a huge house with a 10,000 square foot luxury living space. F that square footage. F those throw pillows. F that art on the walls. Never trade square footage for a foot up your ass. Be in company of, not in care of, and retain your freedom and ability to flee from a failed or failing relationship.